As I was developing Three of Cups and getting ready to launch my business, I found out some news that completely, temporarily derailed all my plans. And that is that I had breast cancer. Hi, my name is Lauren O'Connell, and I am 43 years old. I am the founder and CEO of Three of Cups Beauty and Wellness. I am a breast cancer survivor, and I'm the beauty editor of Cosmo Middle East magazine. And today I'm going to share with you just one of many crazy stories in my life, and that was the time that life threw me one of the greatest curveballs. I had been wanting to create a beauty brand since I was a little girl. I had always dreamed of doing this sort of thing, and life just took me down a different path. I grew up with extremely strict parents that told me I needed to be a mechanical engineer, and me being the very obedient first child, first daughter, did exactly what they said. So when I went to university, I studied mechanical engineering. I rebelled by getting a concentration in biomechanics, which my father was not happy about. Did I want to be an engineer? Absolutely not. I wanted to be a beauty editor. I wanted to be a TV host, a news anchor, and most importantly, I wanted to be a beauty brand founder. But I thought that my lot in life, the cards I were dealt, was that I had to be an engineer. Now, it wasn't all bad because I did meet my husband in engineering school, but the school I went to, called Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Worcester, Massachusetts, was primarily an engineering school. So I could have never switched over to marketing or any other major. It was maths and sciences. And I happened to be really good at school. So the classes I was able to do, but I felt zero passion for them. And I felt when I graduated that my life was kind of over in a way, and there was no hope for me. And I was just never going to be able to do anything that I wanted to do career wise in my life. After we graduated, my husband did a 5-year program. So we had one extra year in Worcester, and I taught 8th grade math. That's a whole other story. And then we moved to Chicago, and I went on to get a master's of science in nursing. Once again, not something I really wanted to do in my life, but my mom had been a nurse and an entrepreneur, and I just didn't know of any other choices for me. I was very sheltered. My worldview was very much like this. Although I knew that there was a lot of this out there, it should have been more expansive, but I had to do all that work on my own. And in the beginning, it was just lots of baby steps. My husband then got a job offer 2.5 years into us living in Chicago for us to move to Dubai. And while I was in nursing school, I went to DePaul University. I would take all my study breaks just walking outside my apartment. I would walk down to the Magnificent Mile. I would check out the Nordstrom, the Sephora, and I would always buy a pink sparkly lip gloss. And I loved beauty. I wanted to be in beauty. I even contemplated dropping out of grad school and working at Sephora. I just wanted to be immersed in that world. And when it came time for us to move to Dubai, I was Googling like crazy to see if there were makeup manufacturers in Dubai. Could I do something like this? And I already had these wheels spinning. Now, this was a long time ago. This was about 17-ish years ago. So this dream has always been with me. Finally, after living in Dubai, we have our daughter followed by our son, and the kids are getting a little bit older, and it was time for me to just finally dive into something career-wise. I needed something. And I felt like even though I had all these degrees, nothing was in the areas that I wanted to go in. There was so much I wanted to learn and to do, and I had so much creativity inside me. I ended up becoming the beauty editor of Cosmo Middle East, and that was because I had started creating an Instagram account that was beauty focused. And I turned out that I was a great networker, and it was like just this explosion in my world. I was I was starting to realize what PR is, what marketing is, and all these people were connecting with me. I was getting invited to these amazing beauty events in Dubai. And every time I got invited, I said yes. So I started to meet lots and lots of people in the industry. And by chance, that's a whole other story. I'll do a video on that another time. But by chance, I ended up becoming meeting the editor-in-chief of Cosmo, and she had just been appointed. And on the spot, I said to her, I should be writing beauty articles. I know everything about skincare and skincare ingredients, which I can attribute to my science background. I mean, I had to learn all these on my own, but things like chemistry and nomenclature and all these things just came very easily to me. And I learned all the ingredients old school style by Googling and then writing them down. I created my own sort of encyclopedia of ingredients. And as I was just chatting with her, she was like, yes, let's go for it. Sure, send something in. The first piece I sent in ended up trending in Cosmo's top 10. And she's like, Lauren, write more. That turned into me working as the beauty editor for the last 6 years. And I really became brave, and having my kids made me so brave. And I thought, you know what? I've had this dream of having a beauty brand forever. I'm going to go for it. It's time. So I started working on my brand, and it takes a lot to create a beauty brand. It's not just when we go into a store and we just see all these products, it's as if they've just instantly appeared there, because for us, they have. But behind the scenes for those products, my goodness, there's branding, coloring, fonts, and there's so much. Bottle sizes. What's the formula? What's the product going to be? What kind of products do you want to have? Where do you want to retail at? I mean, it goes on and on and on. You need to have a giant white space and start to really outline things, make charts and graphs and lists, and you keep refining it and refining it and refining it. So I was in that period. Actually, I was coming out of that period of refining. I had made my first product, and it was November 2023. And I thought to myself, I think I'll be launched by May 2024. That's sort of the path I was on. And at the very end of November 2023, I felt a lump in my breast. I was actually sitting right here in my office, and I felt this lump, and I wasn't worried at all. I just thought, that's kind of strange. The idea of having breast cancer never even crossed my mind. And I've always been a very healthy person, no drinking, no smoking, early bedtimes. Not that that has anything to do with getting or not getting breast cancer, but I felt like if a box was checked, I made sure, if a box needed to be checked, I checked it. And so I felt like I had to get brownie points for all of these good things I'm doing for myself, right? But I ended up finding out that lump was stage 2 breast cancer, and I needed a full course of chemotherapy, 16 rounds, including the toughest type of chemo for breast cancer. I needed radiation. I ended up having 2 lumpectomies and a total laparoscopic hysterectomy. It was a lot. And also, my breast cancer fed on estrogen, that wonderful hormone that keeps our skin so nice and plump and us feeling so great and so youthful, our joints nice and lubed. And estrogen was my cancer's food. So I had to starve my cancer and starve it for the rest of my life in case there's a rogue cell somewhere. So that meant no estrogen in my body, and I needed to go into a forced chemical menopause, which I have been in for 2 years now. And when I hit that roadblock in creating my brand, I just couldn't believe the timing. I could not believe it. I was trying to go through everything I've done in my life and figure out, did I do something wrong? Am I being punished? But of course I wasn't. This was just something that happens, and life is full of experiences, and this is an experience I was having. The timing of it wasn't great, but it was here, and it was up to me on the mindset I wanted to have and, the outlook I wanted to have on it. And I chose to see it as a gift. So going through breast cancer, of course, as you can imagine, was so tough. And I really couldn't do much else besides focus or surrender to the breast cancer. I needed to recover from the surgeries. I needed to take care of myself and recover from all the chemo treatments and the radiation. I had to get used to being in a chemical menopause. I was having hot flashes every couple of minutes all day and night. It was exhausting. But during that time, I refined my brand even more. And I said to myself, this is probably just going to give me a little bit extra time to tweak everything, to perfect everything, make sure all those T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. And while I was going through chemotherapy, I started to get a lot of inspiration. I decided to totally put my first product on the back burner and instead do something different. And I made the shower mask. Now, this is a product that doesn't really exist yet, at least not the way I did it. And it's a face mask formulated to be used in the shower. Perfect for busy women or women that just don't want to lay around with a sheet mask on their face or to do a 20-minute mask. This one works in 3 to 5 minutes. It's this beautiful pink color, which is completely natural. It comes from an ingredient called astaxanthin, which is a red algae, as well as vitamin B12, which helps to support the skin barrier. The red algae is a great antioxidant. But this formula is so creamy, it's so luxurious, and it smooths and softens skin. I launched on June 3rd, and I am just getting message after message after message from ladies saying that their skin feels incredible, and now they actually are looking forward to taking a shower because they can just do the shower mask. And during that time, you can wash your hair, you can do your body wash when you have your shower mask on. Or if you're like me, you can recite some affirmations, you could take some deep breaths and just have sort of a moment to reconnect with yourself. So breast cancer was it was it was a it was a crazy diagnosis to get just months before launching my brand. But I did get it. I got through it and I created something incredible. If you'd like to know a little bit more about Three of Cups and the brand story, you can check that out right here.